This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast. I'm your host, Joanne Crone, joined here by the brilliant Brie Tucker.
Why, hello, buddy. How are you?
We're getting into something really interesting today because this is a place I do not have a natural talent. And I believe that this is a skill that you can learn, but it is spending less money on groceries.
Yes. Okay. That has been a journey in my household. Like, the only thing that I feel like my husband and I have really gotten down is the art of meal planning. And like, meal planning works well for us, but it goes all to hell if we forget to look in the fridge or the pantry or the freezer before we leave. And we rely on that lovely perimenopause brain that forgets where I put the keys 5 seconds ago. It doesn't remember how much chicken we have or whether or not we have fresh lettuce. Like, I need help. I need help.
See, right now I plan by the week, but I plan like separate meals by the week. So I have nothing bulk in the freezer. It's like literally like panic sets in on Sunday afternoon. I'm like, oh shoot, I have to plan the next week and I have nothing. And then like I give my husband the list and it's usually like easy meals that we just know how to make. And it goes from there. But oh my gosh, I could use so many more tips. And today's guest has those tips for us. Joining us here on the podcast today is Amy Cross. She is an urban homesteader turned grocery hack expert. As the founder of the Cross Legacy, she's made it her mission to help families save money and waste less, especially by getting serious about how we wash, store, and treat our produce so it lasts longer. Her book, Zero Waste Produce Guide, walks through 75 produce items and how to extend their life. She's also the creator of the viral Strawberries in a Jar trick, which has been shared over 18 million times. So we can't wait to get into it with Amy. Let's get on with the show. Welcome to the podcast, Amy. I'm so excited to learn all of these grocery shopping tricks and produce hacks from you today.
I'm so excited to be here. I love that our years of struggling to get groceries has turned this into a platform now that I can teach other families to have fresh food and wholesome food in their houses at all times.
Oh my goodness. And it's so needed right now because I feel like not only now being how inflation has hit the world post 2020, but also right now being in the smack dab of the holidays, we have so many other places that we want to spend our money. And I don't know how to make it last further. So I'm very excited to hear your tips.
Yeah, and then food waste too. Like that's something that bothers me a lot whenever I have to throw away stuff in the fridge because I forgot it or like I couldn't figure out how to use it that night or my kids wouldn't eat it. So to get us started, Amy, you mentioned that you developed this process over the years. Like tell us how that happened.
So I grew up on a 200-acre farm. So I know that produce, when you bring it in, is dirty. There's things on it that you want to wash off. And so growing up, we would wash our produce. And then it was a few years ago, over 10 years ago now, that we had 4 under 7 in foster care in our house. And that was kind of at the same time where my heart was starting to tug that I wanted to remove the plastic out of my fridge. And I wanted to start switching things to more glass, whatever you can afford, but that was a calling on my heart at the time. And so I had these four under 7 at my feet that came into my house, like only knowing granola bars and fruit snacks. They didn't know anything came fresh out of the refrigerator. And so our house is an allergy house and we're more of an ingredient household because when my kids are home, we're an allergy household. And so I had these littles at my feet and they all wanted different things. And it was so much easier for me to hold up a beautiful jar of strawberries or blueberries and say, do you want red or blue? Because they really didn't even know what the produce items were. And that's kind of how Strawberries in a Jar was born. It was from these foster littles being in my house. And it went from us being able to go to the grocery store once a week or once every 10 days to now I have tricks for all produce items to last 3 and 4 weeks.
Oh my God, no way. I'm like, holy, just the fact that you were able to go grocery shopping once every 10 days seems like a fever dream to me.
Yeah.
I only have like 4 at the most in our house. Like we're pseudo empty.
I feel like my produce goes bad like within 3 or 4 days.
And then don't you also, Joanne, have like particular places you'll go to get the produce? Because where we live, it's grocery stores. And I'm like, if I go to this grocery store, the produce goes bad faster. Or is that just a Brie
I
thing?
don't do that. No,
Okay,
no,
that's a
that's
Brie
a Brie thing.
That's a Brie thing. It's okay. It's okay.
Well, when you spend a little bit of time washing your produce when you bring it home and storing it away correctly, it's going to last so much longer because you're killing off the mold spores, E. coli, Listeria, and any other harmful pathogens on it. So even if you are getting cheaper produce, you can still kill off those mold spores and it's going to last longer.
Okay, I didn't know that was what was doing it. I thought it was just bad produce to start. That's interesting.
Sometimes it can be, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be bad produce to start, but we go grocery shopping. We've pushed it out now. So at first it was once a week, and then it was like once every 10 days. And now I'm able to go grocery shopping. I still say it's every 3 weeks. There's something in my brain that like, oh, once a month, that seems so scary. But we have been documenting this now for 2 years of when I go grocery shopping, and we push it out to a month or longer each time. And I have fresh produce the whole entire time.
That's unbelievable. And I think before we go any further, we need to tell everybody how much you spend on groceries a month, because I think when you hear this, you are going to want to stick around for the rest of this episode. So let us know that, Amy.
So we went through this really big medical crisis a long time ago, like 18 years ago. And at the time, we knew we wanted to keep the lights on, the water on. We wanted to keep a roof over our head. And we wanted to make sure that we had groceries. That was it. We just wanted to make sure that we had groceries. And so we set aside $100 per person at the time for our grocery budget. And that's what we based everything on. And that was like 18 years ago. We had kids at home. We had foster kids. Our family size has varied throughout the years. But even with inflation, we've been able to keep our grocery budget at $135 per person. And currently, for the last 20 months, it's just been my husband and I here. So our grocery budget has been $270 per month. And we're a mostly organic Whole Foods family.
No. Are you serious? Like the dirty dozen makes me feel so dirty and bad because I can't like, those are my favorite fruits and veggies and I can't afford to buy them all organic. So I'm taking notes while we're talking today. All right.
So I normally say that we do 80% organic and 20% I give myself a little bit of grace. But there is also items that if you buy organic, they're going to last longer. So it's really important that even if you don't believe in buying organic or not organic for your family, if you're buying organic avocados and organic bananas, they're not sprayed with ethylene, which is a ripening hormone. There you go. It's a ripening hormone that is sprayed on them and they make them ripen faster. So they get shipped to the United States, you know, they're rock hard or really green as a banana. And then they get sprayed in the warehouse right before they get put on a truck. So they arrive at the grocery store looking beautiful. And 2 days later, you have black bananas. Yeah.
Oh my God, what happens?
Right.
That is so interesting. So like it's not good produce to begin with in those kind of situations.
It will last longer if you buy organic because then it naturally ripens. So there's a couple of produce buddy kind of tips that are really simple that will help save money on that too. If you have a produce bowl in your house, like a fruit bowl, and you keep oranges and bananas and apples together, they actually kill each other and they don't like each other and they make each other ripen faster. So if you can keep the bananas separate from everything else, that is great.
Oh, so you're giving us all these tips and I really want to map them out for all the listeners out there. So the first kind of mistake you said people make are not washing their produce when they get it because of all the mold spores. And then you're saying that this other big produce mistake is putting apples and bananas together because they will ripen and kind of like hurt each other, as well as buy those organic bananas because they're like going to ripen naturally versus ripen chemically, which I did not know about.
And avocados. Avocados are big in my house.
And organic avocados too. Yeah. Oh my gosh, organic avocados are big in my house too.
Apples, oranges, and bananas are not produce buddies. You don't want to store them near each other, but avocados and citrus are. So in your crisper drawer, if you store avocados, oranges, lemons together, avocados will actually stay fresh for a month.
Okay, wait, give me that again. Avocados, lemons, and oranges together?
Citrus and avocado. Citrus and avocado are best friends.
Best friends.
That is so interesting.
Another friend of me is onions and potatoes. So you want to make sure.
I knew that one. That's the only one.
I did not know that one.
I get excited. Sorry about that, Amy.
You don't want to store them within 3 feet of each other if you can.
Okay, there's onions and potatoes right now next to each other in my bowl on my counter because we're going to make something like that. 3 feet. What do they do
3
to each
feet?
other?
They make each other spoil quicker. So onions will actually last harvest season to harvest season in your pantry. I have 50 pounds of onions in my pantry right now that I got for $20.
Okay, I have so many questions and I'm so sorry for our listeners if your guys' heads are spinning like ours. But okay, so for the onions, just quick, what do you store them in? Is it in a bag, a bin, like glass, plastic, wicker? What are we talking?
And I'm so interested in that. And let's get into that right after this.
Have you ever thought, I wish school could actually nurture what my kid is passionate about? Well, with K-12 powered schools, it absolutely can. Whether your child is obsessed with coding, dreams of being an artist, loves digging into science experiments, or even wants to start their own business, K-12 creates a learning experience built around them. This isn't your typical online learning. K-12 is a tuition-free, accredited online public school for grades K through 12. They've got certified teachers trained in online instruction and over 25 years of experience helping kids grow in the direction they want to go. And the flexibility, absolutely life-changing. School can happen whenever there's internet, home, grandma's, or even on the road for that midweek family trip, because learning shouldn't stop when life happens. So if your kid has a spark, something that they light up talking about, give them the space to explore it. See why more than 3 million families have chosen K-12 to empower their students. Go to k12.com/NGM today to learn more. That's the letter K, the number 12.com/NGM, k12.com/NGM. You know, the holidays are supposed to be joyful, but let's be honest, between travel, gifts, hosting family, and all the last-minute school events, it gets real chaotic. And somewhere in all that chaos, my budget used to completely disappear. But not this year, because I've got Monarch. Monarch is this amazing all-in-one personal finance tool. It was named the best budgeting app of 2025 by the Wall Street Journal. And once I started using it, I immediately saw how fast my holiday spending was adding up. I had no idea how close I was to blowing my budget already. Monarch connects everything, spending, savings, investments, even your home value in one clean, easy interface. So no spreadsheets, just real control. And right now, Monarch is offering 50% off your first year just for No Guilt Mom listeners. Don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code NOGUILT at monarch.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code NOGUILT.
DSW, Designer Shoe Warehouse, is the one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. With sneakers, boots, and everything in between for every style, mood, and occasion, you'll definitely find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. DSW has what you need, but more importantly, they have what you didn't even know you wanted. You never know what you'll find at DSW. Find the shoes that get you at prices that get your budget at DSW stores or DSW.com.
Okay, Amy, right before the break, Bree asked that question about onions. Where do you store them? What do you store them in?
In my pantry.
In my pantry?
Yeah. The onions are in a cardboard box that they came in. And
okay.
then potatoes are in a wire basket with a cloth over them so they don't get light.
Nice. Okay, I'm learning so much.
My first question, Amy, is that you say like potatoes can't store with onions, citrus and avocados together, bananas, oranges, and apples can't go together. So already I'm like thinking like all these different places in my kitchen, I have to store all these fruits and vegetables. And I'm assuming that's not how it works. So like, what does it look like in your kitchen? Do you have special places for the produce? Like, how does that work?
Pretty clean in my kitchen.
It is. So where do you put it? That's where my head is exploding. Because
for our listeners at home, Amy is recording this from her kitchen, and it is freaking spotless.
It is spotless.
So potatoes I normally keep in either a wooden crate, or right now they're just in the cardboard box that I got them from the case from the farmer's market. But literally 50 pounds for $20. They're going to last me all through the winter, if not longer. And then potatoes, I actually have a huge bag that I got of potatoes too, because again, like harvest season, I'll drive like 45 minutes to go get these good deals that will last us for 6 months or so. But those are stored in a wire crate with a pillowcase over the top of them. So they're getting airflow around the potatoes, but no light is getting on them. And for years, we just moved into our house 6 weeks ago. So for the first time ever, we have a basement. But for years, our pantry was always the same temperature of our house. So even if you don't have a basement, it will still last for months and months if you store things properly.
Because my problem with potatoes is they always grow those little like roots and stuff coming out of them.
Because you store them near the onions.
Really?
It's like COVID. They need to have so many feet away to not spread their ickiness. So
garlic's another one too. Like when you're like, if you're getting garlic at Costco and you see the bags on the tag, it will say when it was picked. And then you know that you can get garlic that's from this September, October when it was picked, and garlic will last all year long if you don't store it near potatoes. Yeah. And so
potatoes don't play well with neighbors, apparently.
Are you allowed to store them next to onions?
Yes.
Garlic?
Garlic and onions can be stored together, but just not.
They go together. Come on. You want garlic and onion on everything, so they go together.
My garlic goes brown so fast. It goes brown so fast. And I don't store it next to anything but onions. And maybe I just need to check the tag to see when it was picked. Yeah.
That's a big thing because a lot of, warehouses are holding food that stay fresh for a year. So when you're able to know when that thing was picked, then you'll be able to store it longer. So if you went and got, garlic this summer and it was already, 10 or 11 months old, then it's not going to last another year. But another thing that people don't think about is apples and oranges, because those are at the grocery store all year long. So apples are normally a year old when you buy them at the grocery store.
No! Oh my, are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding. Like, I live in an area where there's huge apple warehouses everywhere that are storing the apples for the country for the entire year.
Oh my gosh. I should tell my daughter this because my daughter has like such issues with foods going bad. I don't think she'd ever eat again, honestly. Maybe I shouldn't tell her this.
She'll never eat an apple again.
The same thing for oranges and citrus. Like,
okay.
That harvest season is in the winter time. So like we don't get oranges again in our house until, December time when they are actually fresh oranges again.
Interesting.
Wow.
Okay, we live by all the groves out here in Arizona. And like I never thought about that. I was like, I just get to get oranges all year long because like we have groves. Didn't even like occur to me that like oranges don't grow when it's 118 out here. But I'm like, I still want an orange.
Yeah.
Amy, we've already talked about how we store our food matters, what we store it next to. Washing the food really matters. What are some other routines that busy parents can start doing this week to help them save money on groceries?
I always joke that the gateway to batch cooking is taco meat. Like, who doesn't have tacos at least once a week or twice a month? Or, if you can just batch cook some taco meat and put some of that, even in quart-sized bags in the freezer or whatever container you want to use in the freezer, you can pull out taco meat and have dinner super easy. And with the taco meat, I add things like lentils or beans, and I add peppers and onions and always a whole zucchini in there too. So I know that my kids and my husband are getting the veggies that they might not eat on the side because they will eat it on nachos or they'll eat it on a taco.
Okay, so I have a question about that because zucchini is I used to be able to get my kids to eat zucchini when they were little. We called them crunchy sticks. I was very particular that they were called crunchy sticks. They ate them. The day their aunt told them, I didn't know you ate zucchini, they were like, what's zucchini? And never touched it again. So are you a pro let's hide stuff in the food so that they don't taste it or they don't see it? Or are you we just put it in there and it's there and they just eat it because it's good?
Well, that's kind of funny. So our grandma moved in with us for her last chapter of her life. And so she got to spend, months in my house with me. Before that, I was taking care of her. And I found out that she did not eat any vegetables at all, any vegetables at all. And she was 95 and her health was failing. It was her last chapter.
95 though is pretty good for someone with no vegetables. Granny did good.
She did. But I found that I had to revert back to all my like toddler skills with her because like then I had to make sure all the pills were, cut off where she couldn't tell that there was a vegetable in sight, and it was just kind of fun.
Man.
So my kids know that, and my husband knows that there's going to be vegetables in there. But when I'm trying to sneak it in, then yes, I would take the peel off of it and cut it a little bit smaller. But honestly, until I started social media, my husband didn't know that I added cauliflower rice to so many things. And so he's like watching a reel one day and he's like, wait a minute. And I'm like,
it's one random Tuesday night, 9 o'clock. You guys are scrolling on your phones and he's in bed next to you and he goes, wait a minute.
Yep. So, and
I thought our marriage was based on truth and honesty. The lies.
One of my kiddos didn't even know until they were in college when they called to ask for my mac and cheese recipe to find out that I put pumpkin in it. So,
that'd be a good addition to mac and cheese, actually.
Just really easy kind of things that you can sneak in. Yeah. And it boosts the nutrients in it, but you're also being able to spread out those meals a little bit more. And we have every single meal here. 95% of the meals we eat are home cooked from home. I have allergies. Our family has allergies. And so we can't go out to eat very often, but I probably only cook about 2 to 3 days a week because we rotate things out of the freezer so much.
What did those meals look like when you're cooking? Like, are you cooking individual meals? Are you cooking like 2 or 3 meals at a time?
So when I cook dinner, I try to like batch cook the taco meat. Or when we have a chicken breast, I will cook a couple of extra chicken breasts and I'll dice those up and I'll put them in the freezer and we can pull them out to put in orzo or different recipes.
Smart.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I can cook just a little bit more when I'm cooking dinner, I'm able to make that into 2 to 3 different dinners that I'm putting into the freezer. And even if you're only using your kitchen freezer, like smushing those bags down when you freeze them will save a lot of space in your freezer.
And then how do you approach cooking, Amy? Like, are you recipe driven or are you kind of just like mixing things together? This is coming from me, definitely, because I feel like I need a recipe for everything.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like sometimes people that I'm talking to that know so much about produce, they're able to do this natural cooking. Like my parents can do that. They can just whip together stuff. But me, I'm like, no, I need a recipe that tells me how much of what to put in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very much like my grandma, not the grandma that we were talking about a minute ago. And she was a home cook and they had 8 kids and she could make things stretch, all the things. So I'm very much like my grandma Branch and being able to pull things together. But I really believe in using the things that you have on hand and I stock ingredients. So I don't necessarily do that Sunday meal plan like other people do. I just have the ingredients in our house that are really versatile that I can use multiple ways because some days I'm busy or some days I don't feel good or some days I just want to pull something out of the freezer. Yeah. And then other days I'm like, oh, I want to actually do something in the kitchen. I actually want to make something, but I'm really, really bad about following a recipe, like really, really bad. I'm always like, how can I make this easier? What can I use to substitute what I have? And so we've been doing this meal series on YouTube every 2 weeks, this whole entire year. We've posted all the meals I've been making with the ingredients that I have in my house. And I think it's been really eye-opening for families to see that we have basic ingredients here and we can make such a variety of things. And so that has been a really great thing to kind of work through and possibly might be a book someday that we're kind of working towards on that. But my kids love when they can call me and like, what's the recipe for this? Like, I can't stand next to you and do it. I'm like, oh, it's on the blog. Like, I actually wrote that one down for you. So
that's so interesting because that was going to be my next question, Amy. Like, how did this skill transfer to your kids? And like, what tips do you have for parents to help them teach their kids how to cook this way if they don't know how to cook this way? And we're going to answer that right after this.
Somehow it's already December. And if your calendar looks anything like mine, it is packed between getting ready for the holidays and celebrating both my birthday and my daughter's birthday this month. Let's just say the gift list is long and I feel like my to-do list is just ready to overflow into January already. That is why I've been doing a ton of shopping on Wayfair. It has everything. I picked up a new set of guest towels and I even grabbed a few last minute gifts for family all in one place. And yes, it all shipped super fast and arrived right on time. It has been a lifesaver. Wayfair makes it easy to tackle your home goals and gift lists with endless inspiration for every space and budget. Whether you're hosting, gifting, or trying to finally get that guest room together, Wayfair helps you do it without all the stress. So get last-minute hosting essentials, gifts for all of your loved ones, and decor to celebrate the holidays for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair. Every style, every home.
Oh, Hilton stay. Your beds are soft and cozy. No lumpy couch, no stiff futon, no shower line at crack of dawn. Oh, Hilton stay.
When you want holiday comfort you can count on, it matters where you stay. Enjoy comfortable rooms and friendly service when you stay with Hilton instead. Save up to 25% this season when you book with Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Terms apply.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. You're ready to move your business forward, but first, you need to find the right team. Start your search with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It can help you reach qualified candidates fast, ensuring your listing is the first one they see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs are 90% more likely to report a hire than non-sponsored jobs. See the results for yourself. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
So, Amy, right before the break, we're talking about how do we get our kids involved in this? Especially like I'm thinking of myself here. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to just like look and take different things from the fridge. I played a game of Chopped once with friends and I did win that. But I grouleed bananas in Otter Pop juice. That's not a dinner. That's not a dinner. So like, how do you recommend starting? It was good though, by the way. But how do you recommend starting?
So I think it starts at the beginning too. So when you're washing your produce and stuff, even with littles, to have them, helping you wash the produce and seeing where produce comes from or any kind of food comes from, but really teaching them that these are ingredients that we have and it's not necessarily out of a box or a package. Like we're going to make something with ingredients in our house. And I think that's really important. But as my kids got older, I have reflective sympathetic dystrophy. And so for 2 years, my hands clawed up and I couldn't open them.
Oh my gosh.
And during that time, my dad actually had to move in because he was like making sure that he was feeding me every day, like literally holding a fork to feed me. And my husband was taking care of the kids and all the things. So they kind of got an early education on this is how you make a wholesome breakfast and this is how you make dinner, because I would be sitting right next to them and they were having to make the meals like in later elementary school.
Yeah.
While we were going through this medical crisis that we were going through. And, it really helped instill those skills that they were competent in the kitchen and they could make something. And then they tease me because we're an ingredient household and there's a name for that now. Back then it was like, oh, you want chocolate chip cookies? Well, there's chocolate chips, there's baking stuff. Go make some chocolate chip cookies kind of thing. And so just being able to let them make a mess in the kitchen and teach them how to clean it up. And taking a little bit of weight off of your shoulders too. If you can assign your kiddos one day a week or one day a month that they are in charge of a meal, that is like teaching them life skills that they are going to take on to college and life with.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
It does.
Yes. Yeah.
It does completely. And it's so interesting, Amy, because you mentioned like not being able to be involved in that cooking and not being able to take on the cooking. And I've noticed like that's an important component of getting kids to cook as well. You don't have to have a disease or you don't have to be sick to allow kids to take over. But I do think there's a certain amount of you do have to step back and allow kids to take over and help. Else it won't happen. It won't happen with the nagging. It has to be more of a, hey, I'm not going to do this. And that's something that I see a lot of moms having trouble with. They feel guilty not being able to do the stuff in the kitchen. They almost feel like it's their job to be cooking. And so it's a huge roadblock for parents to get their kids to start cooking because they're not willing to step back themselves because they feel so bad about it.
Stepping back is important and hard and all the things, but we really have to instill that in trust into the kids and those skills. I remember when my husband, like the first week he was in college with his roommates, one of his roommates came out with all these clothes. Maybe it was 2 or 3 weeks in. And he's like, what am I supposed to do with all these clothes? And my husband was like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, I normally just put them in the hamper and then they end up in my drawer. His mom sent him to college without even knowing how to like run a wash machine or separate clothes.
So did my parents, Amy. That is one of my famous stories, is that my roommate had to teach me how to wash clothes. I was
Yeah.
I realized about a week into college that I was like, oh crap, I don't actually know how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. Sometimes we think about it in a way of like, oh, I'm the mom. I should be taking care of my family. This is what traditional parenting roles are. I want to be able to do that, but we don't think about the fact that sometimes when we do that so much, we're robbing them the ability to learn that skill before they go out on their own. Because, I mean, they're going to have to learn to cook. They're going to have to learn to clean a bathroom. They're going to have to learn to do laundry, like all that jazz. And if we've been doing it for them out of love, there's somebody else's pain in the butt later.
Right. We
Yeah.
want really productive, grown and flown kids. Like,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting hearing this, Amy, because honestly, when I hear this, I'm filled with a lot of guilt because I am not somebody who uses a lot of produce at home. I add produce in certain things, but my kids don't do it. And in fact, the way my kids feed themselves is we do have a lot of pre-prepared stuff, which is it's like processed. And I feel so guilty saying that word, the process, but that is how we survive day to day. Like they have their sausage, egg, and cheese muffins that my son has. My daughter has her lean cuisine protein pizzas that she likes. And that's how we get stuff done and in their mouths and fed so that I don't have to be the constant cook in the kitchen or there's my husband. That said, there's some guilt there in going over to this kind of thing. So like what's like one little step for those moms who feel so guilty about the way they are and they want to use produce more in their cooking, but they need a little small step to it? What do you recommend they do, Amy?
one big thing that I think is kind of little that we do here almost every single day, and it has like transformed into even not having kids here, is when that 3:30 rush, my husband gets off work, when the kids used to get home from school, I set out veggies. We have veggies and protein avocado dip. They are eating veggies. And then if that's what they're walking in the door eating, that's what I'm eating when I'm cooking dinner, then I'm not so worried about what veggies are on their plate later, or what they're actually consuming later. And that's kind of a time where a lot of kids walk in the house and they want packaged snacks. So
Yeah.
if you can kind of train their brain that like, oh no, we're going to have these veggies that are so pretty in the refrigerator right now and a ranch dip that's good for you and has high protein, it takes some of that guilt away and it's super easy. I cut carrots once a month and those carrots are still fresh in the container. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to know the secret to the strawberries in a jar. Like, I haven't seen that video yet. And strawberries are something that my family absolutely loves, but we're so picky about because, when you try to get strawberries out of season, they're not normally very good. And they're normally in a pint container and half of them are smushy. So I'm curious, do you slice them in the jar? Do you keep them whole? Do you take off the top? What do you do?
All of those things are wrong.
Okay, thank you, because I feel like
Wrong.
I can find a video or a blog that will tell me to do every single one of those and tell me not to do every single one of those. So I don't know what's right.
That's something I really love about what we're doing is I'm showing produce that's 2 and 4 weeks old. I'm not somebody that just saw something that was viral, which I'm the one that started the viral trend, but I'm not somebody that's just showing something and then being really damaging to the berries and like dumping them into, a container really hard and bruising them. This is stuff that I've been doing for decades now, and I really have tried and true things. But the strawberries, if you're buying them in the wintertime, which I wouldn't suggest to do, I think it's really important to try to rotate your produce items out so your family's really excited. Like in February when there's fresh, huge strawberries again, and not the ones that have been traveling all across the world to get to you right now. So
Yeah.
taking a break from produce items is a good thing. And then you can bring them back when they are in season. So right now it's grape harvest season. Probably don't think about grapes being harvested right now.
Right now,
Like,
I'm thinking about apples. Well, I could say
and apples.
Yeah, we're recording this in November, and I'm thinking, yeah, apples right now.
Yeah. So grapes are the berry that we have in the house right now because those are the ones that are the freshest. And I will buy extra of those right now. And then when we get closer to February, when the big strawberries are in, then I'll have them again. But you
Wow.
want to make sure that you wash them according to my instructions, which is really important. It's a quarter cup of distilled white vinegar to 10 cups of water, and you soak that for 2 minutes. And strawberries and some of the other produce items will bounce to the top. And so you have to kind of bob them back down. And then
Okay.
you want to lay them out on a towel to dry. So it normally takes around 2 to 3 hours, depending on where you live and how
Mm-hmm.
warm your house is, to dry. And then you store them in a glass jar with a paper towel at the bottom. And a lot of the produce items that I store, you store with a metal lid, which is completely airtight. But
Okay.
berries, you actually want to store with a plastic lid that lets a little bit of the condensation escape. And once you
Okay.
cut into a berry, it starts deteriorating, and then it's only going to last for a couple days after you cut into it. So I taught my kiddos to hold it by the green and eat the red when they were little,
Mhm.
not choking,
Oh,
old enough.
How long do they last then?
At 3 weeks.
3
So
weeks, wow.
in season, blackberries and raspberries will last 2 to 3 weeks.
okay.
So, like if you're buying them in the spring, summertime, then you're going to get blackberries and raspberries last 2 to 3 weeks. Strawberries last for 3 weeks. Grapes will last 4 to 6 weeks. And blueberries will last 6 to 8 weeks in your refrigerator.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So I'm loving this advice, but I do have a question. So at the beginning, we talked about how you have got your grocery budget down to just $270 a month. It's a very, very amazing feat, if you ask me. Which do you think has been a big factor on that? Has it been the having the staple items in your pantry or at home that's helped you save money? Or is it the produce, these tricks getting your produce last longer? Or is it a gentle mixture of both?
I actually had a TED Talk because of strawberries in a jar, and I did a lot of research before the TED Talk and found out that the average family in the United States is throwing away 40 to 60% of the food that they're buying.
Oh, I'm not surprised. Yeah.
Yeah. So some grown-up families like us, we're used to spending a lot at the grocery store. It's kind of hard to walk into the grocery store and spend less than $200 at the grocery store just
Yeah.
going into buying something,
Exactly. Especially these days. Yeah.
browsing, and all of the things that happen when you walk into the grocery store. So by being able to keep ingredients at our house that we can use multiple ways and having fresh produce all the time, I'm able to cycle through the meals that we're having. And I think it's really important that we have fall and winter meals and kind of think about those kind of meals that we're making in the fall and winter time. And those change for spring and summer meals. So as I'm putting things into the freezer, I'm making sure that anything that has been in there for 6 months, I'm really making sure that we're getting that used up. And then normally by the time like spring break comes around, I'm making sure that we've used up any shepherd's pie or any different things that I have in the freezer that I've made in the fall that we want to use up before it gets hot in the summertime. And you don't want those fall cozy kind of meals.
Yeah. Well, Amy, thank you so much for everything that you have shared with us. I've learned so much, especially about onions and potatoes. No more. No more. They're not going to be by each other anymore, Amy. What's something coming up for you that you're really excited about?
We put 3 videos every single week up on YouTube. And I think it's a time consuming kind of thing to get 3 videos up every single week.
Oh, yeah.
But we are helping so many families save groceries and save money on groceries. And we are going to keep doing this meal series through 2026. So you can really see the ingredients that I buy when I go grocery shopping and what I have in the house and how I'm able to use them and not have to cook every day. Because I think that's a big thing. A lot of people think that, oh, she's cooking 3 meals at home every day. I'm not. So
Yeah.
we are eating 3 meals at home every day, but not cooking them at home.
I think that is a key right there, right, Joanne?
Yeah, that's a key. And I'm going to go check out that YouTube series. Thank you so much, Amy, and you listening out there in podcast land. Hope that you got a lot of tips that you can put in place in your home, even if it's just something really little, like putting those veggies out on the counter, which I'm going to do. I have veggies in my fridge right now. I could do that this afternoon. And until next time, remember, the best mom is a happy mom. Take care of you, and we'll talk with you later.
Thanks for stopping by.
If you'd like to support the show further, you can share episodes with your loved ones, leave a positive review, or follow us on social media at No Guilt Mom. You could also show your love by visiting our amazing podcast sponsors. We have a link in the show notes.